Good afternoon. Time for afternoon tea. Don't worry, you're not in the wrong place. This is coffee and a card, just delayed a couple of days or day and a half. And instead of morning coffee, we're enjoying some afternoon tea. So I hope that if you are signing on live, you say a hello in the comments. We love to hear who's watching or see who's watching. And feel free to have a little conversation with us. Talk back and forth, ask me questions, say hello to each other, and let's enjoy a little crafternoon tea. Get it? Crafternoon tea. So we'll wait for a few people to come on. I'm still featuring this week the lovely and beautiful designer series paper right here. I'll show you that close up when I flip my camera around. I thought it was kind of nice. It went with the flowers on my teacup and saucer. So I have a lot of teacups and china teacups and saucers that I got from my grandmother, and I've collected a few over time, and I just love them. So this has some of the yellows and the purples on there. So I thought maybe that kind of matches the colors of the paper I'm using today. And I am drinking some I Love Lemon herbal tea. I already had my coffee this morning, had 2 big cups. I think I had enough caffeine. It's getting a little late for caffeine anyway. So a little calm, soothing tea this afternoon. What are you guys drinking? Hi, Lydia. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Lydia, Linda. I thought it was my friend Lydia. I got to put my glasses on and look closer. Hi, Linda. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Please say hello if you're watching. And if you like to tell us where you're from, that's a lot of fun as well. I'm going to take a sip of my tea while it's hot. One thing about tea, especially black tea, I need to drink it hot. First of all, it has to be really boiling to brew properly, right? At least the black tea does. Otherwise, it just tastes flat. It doesn't taste crisp and fresh. And any tea drinkers out there? What's your preferred, tea or coffee, or neither? Hot cocoa? Any hot beverages? I know some people don't even drink. I know some people who don't drink any hot beverages at all. Sometimes soup. That's more of a food that you're eating. But so, what do you say? Coffee or tea? What's your preferred? Some people only drink tea when they're sick, so they have that mindset that, oh gosh, no, it's only for when I'm sick. But yeah, this I Love Lemon tea, delicious. And I did not bring my scones today. I do have some in the freezer ready to go. When I make my scones for my when I do my fancy teas, I make mini scones so that people can taste the variety. So the last time on Valentine's Day, I made lemon ginger, and I made orange cranberry, and I made some plain. And I make them ahead, but I don't bake them. I just make the dough, form them, cut them into the little iconic little triangles, and then I freeze them individually. I keep them on a cookie sheet and freeze them individually. And then once they're frozen, within, an hour or so, I put them in Ziploc bags. That way I can just take them out and bake them and have hot scones right away, which I just love. Just love it. So I did not do that today because it is 4:30, and around as soon as we're done here, I'm going to start making dinner. So I don't want to spoil the dinner. But welcome. Yeah, let's see. Sign on, say hello, everybody. And I hope you will enjoy what we're doing today. It's a fun fold that's going to show off both sides of the designer paper. Sometimes you don't know what side to use, or you hate to use one side because it's going to cover up the pretty other side. So this is going to show off two sides of the paper, which is a lot of fun. Let me take more sip of my tea and we'll get started. Perfect temperature. Okay. So, welcome to Crafternoon Tea, or otherwise known as Coffee and a Card Delayed. Now, I'm going to flip the camera down and get started here. So, you're going to start with your designer paper. We're not, the designer paper itself is going to be the main part of the card. We are just going to use a single layer for the card base. So I did not make any of these ahead of time. I have made these cards in the past, but oh goodness, I was trying to figure out which of this beautiful paper to use, and thinking that maybe I'll make some cards in different colors. I've used some of the peach pie, the coral, and the petal pink before. I just love that petal pink with the old olive, and it's just gorgeous. This paper has highlights of gold, which makes it even more special. So I was thinking, I also did one in the fresh freesia, and it has also has Darling Duckling. I was thinking, well, maybe I'll feature the Darling Duckling, but when I flip this over, it has the fresh freesia, and if I use the fresh freesia over the Darling Duckling, I don't care for that combination quite so much, and we are going to see a lot of this fresh freesia here. If it were like this with minimal amounts of the freesia, I love this look. So I'm going to save the Darling Duckling for a different card that shows off only this side of the designer paper. Other colors that we have here, again, I love this with the old olive. That's really pretty too. But I'm not a huge fan with this combination here. So that's kind of helping me whittle this down a little bit to actually, I'm going to use the freesia. All right, because this is going to be the inside and base of my card. And then this is going to be in the front. And both of those really do look beautiful, right? Okay, so let's see here. Just curious, is anybody on from Facebook? Usually I see both Facebook and YouTube. Right now I'm just seeing YouTube people. Just curious if if I'm streaming properly. I'm supposed to be on both. Yeah, my software just show little check marks up at the top that I'm on both. So anyway, just checking everybody. So we are going to start with a piece of designer paper that is 6 3/4 by 8. So let me see here. This piece that I've already cut into is just about 8 inches tall there. So I'm going to cut 6 3/4 this way. Need to open up my trimmer. I put a brand new blade on there so that I'm going to get some nice clean cuts, not those frayed edges. Yay, beautiful. And I will trim this to a perfect 8 by 6 3/4. Okay, and there's a little piece. If it had more color on it, I would probably save that for the inside of a card. But, oh, actually, I could have used the back. That's okay. It's going in the garbage. I have plenty more where that came from. Don't we all? Right? Now, this works nicely. This card works nicely with a pattern that is random. Okay, there is no definite up and down because we're going to be folding this in different ways, and you don't want it to look upside down. All right? So this is scrap. I'll put this aside for now. And now I'm going to take my scoring blade, push my cutter out of the way, and I'm going to put, we're going to score this across the top and then down the left side at 2 3/4. Okay, so across the top, okay, 2 3/4, 2 3/4. And then down the other side. This is going to be my inside. Don't worry if you score it on the wrong side. Just have 2 parallel sides, okay? You can always just fold it the opposite direction if you feel you folded it on the wrong side. It's okay. Just you want to do one across the short side, one across the long side. So 2 3/4. Now don't go too hard on your designer paper because it is thinner than your cardstock, remember. Okay, so now what we have here is, I know it's hard to see, it might be easier to see on this side. We have score lines that intersect right here. That's going to be key for doing the next fold. All right, so I'm actually going to turn it the outside. Again, don't worry if you're doing it the wrong, if you feel like you do it the wrong side, just reverse it later on because, you know, folds can go either way. All right, so where those two lines intersect is where I'm going to make the next folds. And I'm going to, before I crease this section here, I'm going to eyeball that it's parallel to this side and to that side. Okay, so this point here where those two, let me show you again, where those two came together is where I'm going to be folding this back. So it's going to be parallel here, and we want it to kind of look square. Okay. Take my bone folder, give it a good crease. All right, I should have done that to these other folds as well, shouldn't I? Let me just make sure I'm good here. And then this way. Okay, so remember, this is going to be my inside. I'm saving the prettier part for the outside. And this is what I folded back. Okay, so now I'm going to bring it back up again. And you can see it's sort of buckling inward here. All right, that's kind of happening naturally. Because this sort of pops one way then the other. Kind of reminds me of those poppet things, right? They kind of go one way or the other. So this is popping up here. So I'm going to bring those two pieces together and lay them down onto my card, onto that back part. Now this part, we're just going to flatten down. So this is, like I said, a fun fold, and it's going to kind of pop up when you open it. Okay, so then when we open this, it's going to be like this. All right, so now this part here that's left should measure 4 by 5 1/4. So when we do a card base to go behind that, we're going to measure it just 1/4 inch more. So that's going to bring it to our typical card size here in the US anyway. So we want 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I just have to take another sip of this tea here. Excuse me. Tastes good. So instead of a full cardstock base, we just have that one sheet, and we're going to layer it on there like that. All right. Okay, now I'm seeing this part here is showing just a little bit. So I'm just wondering if I could maybe just fix that fold a little bit more this way. Okay, kind of bring it up and down just a little bit more so it doesn't show quite so much. It's not going to matter because we're going to cover it. So I don't know why I'm fussing. That's because I notice it, right? Sometimes we get a little crazy. So I'm putting glue on the back of this. Hate to cover all of this, but we do have the same on the front. Okay, I don't see any other comments. I do see a bunch of people are watching, but I don't see anybody commenting. I'm wondering if it's working. Just all curious about that. And that's all I'm saying. Okay. So there we go. So now we're going to put a piece of white on the inside so that we have a place to write. And you can make that however big you want. You know, some people like a smaller amount to write, and you can see more of the designer paper, but we're seeing all this other designer paper. So I'm just going to make this 3 3/4 by 5, because remember this section here is 1/4 inch bigger than that. So I always keep these sheets here for my inner layers, and they are 4 inches. So I'm just going to go down and take off 1/4 inch and take out 1/4 inch this way. So 3 1/4 by 5. And that will go on the inside. And of course we can decorate that. I did not get the stamps that go along with this, but there are so many beautiful flowers in that paper. You can always fussy cut, or I'm going to actually use some of the ephemera that came with this collection. The gold foil vellum ephemera. That's not the official name, by the way. Okay. All right, so now we have a place that we can write, our message can be seen, and then we want to decorate the front. Now you can put anything on here. If you have die cuts, you can decorate it. I saw somebody do it once with a little heart, or big heart rather. I'm just going to use another rectangle. You could use a big circle if you want. Oh, actually, let me see. Speaking of circles, I just happened to have some of the Spotlight on Nature circles. So something like that could work. You put that there, but the whole idea though, whatever you're going to put here, you will want to only glue it to this front flap here. Okay, just this flap, because that's what you need to open up your card. If you glue it down to everything, you won't be able to open the card, right? So that does look pretty, doesn't it? Ooh, maybe I'll use that. Oh, I do like the eyelet one. That's a little bit more feminine. This one might be too big, I think. Yeah, I don't like that big one so much. See, that's one thing that's nice to keep a bunch of these. When I was die cutting some, I said, let me just run some extras because you have a pile to go to and it flashed. All right, that looks really pretty, doesn't it, with the eyelet there? All right, so now we'll decorate this however you like. I'm going to put one big sentiment, take up a lot of that circle, and then we'll add some of the ephemera or some of the DSP around there. So here's a little sneak peek on another set I'm going to be using in the future. Might be next week, this coming week. Haven't fully decided yet, but this round of hellos is a fun set to do some easy stamping with. You have your solid, nice, bold looking stamps. You have some graphic looks here, and obviously a lot of things are based around like a circle. So the style of this doesn't really match this sort of watercolory look. So, but I did want to use this sentiment here, because that's going to take up a nice bold area. Oh, happy day, and go right in there. Now, I admit I didn't get to wash these stamps yet. I always like to give them a little wash first. I take the top layer of this off and I leave them all on the thicker acetate. And I take a little bit of dish soap, like a little drop on my finger, and I rub it all around all the stamps. I close my dish drain, my sink drain, and so that if something falls off, it's not going down the drain. And then I just kind of rub it with my fingers and then give it a good rinse until I no longer feel that it's soapy or oily. And then the stamps are good to go, because sometimes with the processing, some of the little chemical residues could be on there and you won't get as clear of a stamp as you hope the first few times that you stamp. All right, so the other option in a pinch, which is what we're doing here now, is I'm just taking my chamois that's wet and I'm going to rub over that a little bit and hopefully get some of that off. You can see I need to clean my chamois too. I'm getting some little speckles on there. Anyway, I've mentioned this before, I like to take a bigger block, much bigger block than what my stamp is, because that way, when I hold it, the beveled edges are not getting in the way of me seeing where I want that to be positioned. So when I'm stamping that over there, I can see exactly where it is. On a smaller block, it might be harder to see exactly where it is because the bevels create shadows and distortion. So I like to use a much bigger block. Not uncomfortably big, but it doesn't have to. You want it bigger than what just fits the stamp is kind of what I'm trying to say here. All right, so I'm going to stamp that in, I was thinking, should I do the old olive or should I do, I think freesia might be a little light, but, or I can always do, let me use basic gray. I think black is going to be a little too harsh on here. So the gray, basic gray, just take a little bit off of that contrast of the dark black to the, as opposed to against the white there, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So now before I do that, let me plan out the rest of what I want to do here, because I might want to position this off the side or high or low, whatever. If anything, I'm thinking the top right a little bit and then putting something over here. So let's take a look at the paper and see what we can come up with here. This is my scrap. I do have pretty flower here that I could fussy cut, even though the straight edge kind of cut into the flower a little bit. I can cut around that with my scissors, but let's see what else we have. We might want to choose something else from the pack. So I am surprised I'm not seeing any Facebook comments here. I'm only seeing one comment. Okay, would somebody be kind enough to leave another comment? Just so I know it's working. I mean, I'm not forcing you to talk if you're shy, but I would like to know what's going on, because usually I see a lot of comments. All right, let me get another sip of the tea. Here we go, my I love lemon. Okay, we'll get that out of the way so I don't knock it over. Okay, so let's see. We have these beautiful leaves that are similar to what's on here. Let's kind of think this out a little bit. So I could pick up some of those leaves, and I said I was going to be using some of this ephemera, beautifully adorned ephemera pack. It just comes in a cellophane envelope, but I like to keep it in the stamp case here so that it's easier for me to just go through everything. Okay, so we have some solid gold leaves. We have some that are just the outlines. We have, I'm not going to use the labels on this. We have some flowers. The flowers are big. That's a little too big for my project here today. I wish there were some smaller flowers, to be honest. So I think I am probably left with choices of using like the gold, either the solid leaves or the more delicate looking ones like here. I'll keep that on top and see what we end up doing. Okay, here's some here. Keep that in mind. I'll pop it out for now. Sometimes you just have to see it. You have to get it out there and do it. Or you can even use both. That looks pretty too. Okay. I'm going to try to get everything in the camera. I'm going to use my block to hold that down. And okay, I do love these flowers here. That would be difficult to cut out, and there aren't the color, that coral, on the piece I'm using right now. Let's see what I have in my scrap. See if there's anything I can cut out. Well, these are cute, the little purple ones, right? Yeah, and these have the a clean edge. They're not as watercolory faded on the end, so it would be easier to make some cuts out of that. So let's see what else we have. We have this. I'm not bringing in the pinks or the corals. I'm keeping to the either the petal pink or the freesia. And I think, okay, there's some leaves, but we already have those leaves over there. We couldn't combine them, I suppose, right? Could do that. Well, I think my best bet is, there's a paper we're using now. If I want to fussy cut something, I think it's those that I looked at first. I think I can fussy cut 2 of those flowers out. I think it'll look very sweet on there, and we'll have the leaves, and maybe a little green leaf could work as well. Here's one right here I could cut. All right, so let's try that. Put the rest of this aside. I always keep my scraps in a little cello bag. This is my go-to. So instead of cutting those flowers out of a large sheet, I look here first. And then if there's nothing I need in here, then I can go to the bigger sheet and cut into that. All right, well, here's some other leaves, but I think this one will work. May as well use that scrap, right? All right, so now let's build our little card front here. And I did say I was going to do a rectangle, but I changed my mind. We're allowed when we're crafters, right? So like I said, because this is kind of cut off on the ends, it's okay. I can tweak it. I can tuck it under another flower. I could put it on the edge of something else, put the leaves over it, or just round it off to look like a shorter petal. Always options, right? Okay, so there you go. Could be just like that, not a problem. I think that looks pretty. Let's get the next one over here. Cut that away. I like to kind of cut a bigger area, then fine tune it. So wonder if I'd like to have a conversation with you guys, but I'm not seeing any comments. I don't know what the problem is. I was going to ask, who's getting snow? I know the Northeast here in Maryland, it just started as I was logging on to my streaming software here. It was like a wet snow. It looks like it's getting a little lighter. It looks kind of wet still because it's not, the temperature isn't too cold, so it's hovering around the freezing line. That's why we're getting, maybe not as much accumulation as people north. I hear the coast of Maryland, the Eastern Shore, is supposed to get a lot more, and then points north, New York, and into upper states, northern states, upper New Jersey as well. Okay, so here's another example of that leaf was along a straight edge, but I just rounded it off, and it looks fine. I love when you can use your scraps and only be left with that, right? Down to the bitter end. This is going to look really pretty. Oh my gosh. I'm wondering if I should use the freesia instead of the gray. Wow. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, it's so pretty and delicate. Oh my gosh. You know what? I might not even need that green on the front. And one other thing with vellum, everybody, you have to hide where you're putting the glue, your adhesive, whether it's your tape runner, your Seal Plus, or liquid glue. So I'm going to put some under here because you will see it through the vellum. The one that has more gold foiling on it, we will not see through there, so that's okay. That's not going to be a problem. I could put this down here like this. And then let's see if my sentiment will fit up here. Oh, happy day. Yep. I think it is a happy day for this card. And I just lost my little flower. Oh, bummer. Where is it in here? Oh, there it was, hiding underneath that one. Okay, now that I know kind of where I'm going with this, I'm going to stamp. I'm really debating what color to stamp this in right now. So you know what I do? I take some scrap paper and stamp it out in the different colors and see what I like. Okay, so my choices are Freesia, Old Olive, and Basic Gray. I'm going to start with the Freesia and see how that goes. Then I'm just going to hold it up there and see what it looks like. I would ask your opinion, but I'm not seeing any comments. So if you do have an opinion, weigh in, guys. Oh, wrong one. I'm doing it on here, right? Duh. Okay. That does look pretty, doesn't it? Okay, so that's one option. Clean it off. And then we can try the Old Olive. That might be nice contrast too. I'm sure any of them would be good, just a matter of what we like best. Or just sometimes it's just a matter of making a decision. Just choose something. I got to flip it on this side. Let's see what that looks like. And we have our flowers here, right? Have things like that. And that looks very pretty as well. A little bit darker, so maybe that might be the way to go. And it might be nice contrast with the Freesia. So I might be leaning toward that. That might be the winner, folks. And then let's take a quick look at Basic Gray. Clean off my Old Olive. Okay, nope, that's not going to be the one. Nope, I think Old Olive, don't you? Now, these aren't going to go to waste because this is what I can do and use them again. Ooh, if I cut it properly, I could even save one on the other side. Now I can fussy cut these. And use them on another card. Just like that. Oh, happy day. All right, I can always fine tune it later, but see what I mean? Got an instant tag, use that another time. Same with this. Well, no, I'll have to do one or the other. But we'll work that out later. There we go. Let's stamp this in the Old Olive. I think that's the winner. Okay, clean off the basic gray. Let's make sure it's pinked up real well. I think I did add extra ink to this recently. I'm going to put it at the top right. And one thing that's nice about this type of font, it's not a block lettering that you have to get perfectly straight. So that's really good. And then we'll arrange the flowers and the leaves on there. Okay, let's get a random idea. When things overlap, some things up on dimensionals. Okay, I think that can look really nice. I kind of liked that overlapping a little bit too, but one thing that bothers me is these two are kind of exactly the same shape. So maybe, let's see, is that exactly the same or is that a little bit different? That one is a little different. So I'm going to take this one instead. And see if it's exactly the same, then I don't know, it just didn't look right to me. Okay, I think I like that better. Yep, I do. I like that a whole lot better. All right, so now to get it the same way that you wanted it, there are a few tricks to this. And one is sometimes I just take a picture so that when I take it apart, I could put it back the way I wanted it. And the other trick is to use the press and seal. So I'll show you how to do that as I get this back where I wanted it. Okay, I like that flower on top there. Ah, there we go. Except I don't want that showing. The bottom of that, turn it a little bit. All right, there we go. So now press and seal. Is what people use in their kitchen, but I don't use it in my kitchen. I use another brand, but I do use it in my craft room, and there's basically the whole roll here because I don't use it all the time, but when I do use it, you can use it again and again. So I've had this sheet here for a while, and I can continue to use that. So what I'm going to do is, now that this is in the right spot, I'm going to lay the sticky side down, and it's going to pick up those pieces and then I can put my glue on the back there. You see they're right there. And remember, I'm not going to put glue behind the parts of the vellum that are showing, that aren't covered by anything else. So I'm going to put the glue here like this. And that one that's way underneath, I'm going to put up with dimensional dots. So I'm going to avoid some glue on that piece as well. This full gold foil on the sleeve can accept glue all over. It's okay. Okay, so it's all staying in the same arrangement that I already had. So now when I flip it over, I can lay it right back down where I want it. Okay, now I'm remembering this flower here doesn't have the glue on it, so I'm just going to put dimensionals on there. So now we carefully pull this up. All right, now this one's getting a dimensional. One big one fits right in the back. I'm hoping you're liking this. Okay, this could probably get a little more glue on the back because it was overlapping. I wasn't able to get glue under there so well. I'm going to sneak a little extra there right now. There, that's pretty, isn't it? I hope you like that. All right, now back to our card. We started a long time ago. So that's going to go just on, just going to put, you can either put glue or you can use dimensionals. Excuse me. I'm not sure what I want to do. This is popped with dimensionals. I think I'll use glue. Yeah. All right, so I am just going to make sure the glue is along this part here. So it's, if I think of just 1/4 of that circle, I should be good. All right, I'm going to stay between the H and between the H and that leaf there. All right, so one thing that I'm going to do is I know this upper edge is going to catch the paper here, and it's just a matter of knowing how low to go. So rather than bringing it down here and making a mistake, I'm just going to put some glue on the bottom right corner over here because I know that's going to be covered. And therefore I know we have enough glue on both parts. Okay, now there's our card. I know it would go a lot quicker when you're just doing it yourself because, of course, I was taking time to explain it all. Now, if you wanted, I've seen some people decorate this part up here as well. So why not? Let's go do that. So this square up here is actually 2 3/4. So let's do 2 1/2. We'll take another, you could have taken another piece of the fresh freesia and matted underneath the white here if you wanted to. Let's take 2 1/2 square. That is a square, right? Yeah, 2 3/4 is the folded designer paper section. So let's just cut this a little smaller. We have our scrap here. And then we said we wanted 2 1/2. So let's do that. And that. Okay. And then that can go over there. That way we have another element, another little something to look at there. And we can put maybe a different designer paper over there, something that will stand out as something special. Or you could take one of those other ephemera things. But let's see maybe what we haven't used up here. We do have a lot of the green here, so that's one reason why I liked using those freesia flowers there as well, because we missed some of the flowers when we folded it up. So maybe bringing in those flowers there could be very pretty too. So now I'm going to cut that to 2 1/4 inches. I might need to, well, no, that will be perfect. I might need to tweak it, take a little more off here, put more up there, but I think that'll be fine. 2 1/4, 2 1/4. It brings another point of interest up into that top left section of the card. So it's not too overwhelming with all of this. So we'll glue that together. And we still have that little leaf, so maybe it can go down on there on this part. Okay, we'll put that up there. Oh, that looks pretty. Okay. Well, thank you for the thumbs up. Thumbs up and hearts are great. Thank you again. And comments are even better in Facebook and YouTube, promoting my videos out to new people. So I do appreciate all that you do and you guys tuning in. Oh, I need a little more glue under that corner. I do not like corners flopping up. But you have to be careful not to put too much glue. That's going to seep out, right? It's a fine, a fine thing you have to be real careful of. All right, so maybe if I put that leaf down there, as if it's coming out, it makes a really pretty card like that. So I think I'll do that. Add a little something to this part. So do you like the card? I hope you do. Like I said, it really shows off two sides of your designer paper. Okay, so I took a lot longer to figure that out and to show you, but it really is a quick card to make. It really is. Okay, we have just a couple minutes. Maybe I'll kind of whip up another one. Let's choose something really, really fast here. I'm not going to think too hard on it. I'm going to do, let's just take this with the greens. Okay, we're going to do olive. I have olive here. I'll take, this is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. For my base. And now maybe this part will go on my front. I will do a rectangle this time. All right, and the designer paper, we want 8 by 6 3/4. 6 3/4. Okay, let's see how quick I could do this here. Anybody got a stopwatch? All right, it's not a race. Creativity is not a race. But it is nice to know that you can, like I said, whip something up. Doesn't that look really pretty together? I don't know if you can, how well you can see with that light. I know I have different kinds of lights here. There you go. That might show the best. Nice. All right, we're going to score at 2 3/4 on 2 adjacent sides. Turn it 90 degrees and do 2 3/4. We're going to fold those. And there's my bone folder. Okay, I can see where that is. All right, flip it over. I can see better. There we go. We're going to see where those two intersect. And I'm going to fold it down from there, making sure that these sides of the triangle are parallel with this and with that. That might be the hardest part of the card. Never know. Well, actually, one thing that you can do, okay, I'm just noticing now that I can see the score lines better. I can see this score line lining up with the score line here. So you can see that they will line up, and then you know they are straight. And then same thing with the other side. How about that? I didn't even notice that when I made this card before. Learn something new all the time. Isn't that so pretty, though? Those hints of freesia with the olive. I think it's so nice. All right, so we want this to be the outside of a card, and this is going to be the inside of the card. So actually, I did it backwards. All right, so there is a way. So this is gonna be backwards. All right, so these two are gonna fold in. So it'll be a more subtle card on the outside. Actually, this may work out just fine anyway. And then a wow on the inside. How about that? Let's put our inside piece. Let's glue it down first so we get the full effect here. There we go. See, I might not have done the olive to olive, but it's going to be okay. It really is. No one's going to send the card back. I'm going to say, nope, forget it. I don't like it. You're getting it back, right? Okay, so now, like I said on the other card, if you wanted to, you could put another rectangle of the green here of cardstock and then put another white if you like. So just to show the difference, maybe I'll do that. Cut that down to 3 3/4 by 5. I think it's always helpful to have, what did I do? Look at me, I did 4 3/4. 3 3/4 by 5. And I can get layered there. And then we can put the white. So now we need to go 3. We need to go 3 1/2, a 1/4 inch less than that. So 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And you can layer that on there. Just in case your card doesn't have enough layers, you can add it on. I'm just kidding. It's not going to be all that thick because you only have 1 layer for your card base to begin with. So again, liquid glue gives you a little time to wiggle it right into place. So that looks very nice. You see extra layers here. So maybe we'll bring in some of that freesia for the card front. So while I'm thinking of it, maybe we'll decorate the top here. We need that to be, what did I say, 2 1/2, I think, before, right? I think so, because this was, yeah, 2 3/4. So we'll do 2 1/2 and 2 1/2. Do that down here. Maybe I'll just put an ephemera flower up there. Since we don't have boldness other places, we can bring it on in here. Okay, I might even put another white. Let's decide that later. So let's work on the front. Let's bring in freesia. I was thinking that I'd use some of this extra, thinking I'd use this extra piece for the front, but that's way too much green now that I did this one backwards. So let's bring in the freesia. Bring in the freesia. And I think this piece was a good size. I like that. So let's just go with that. So this is 3 by 4 1/4. Sounds good to me. 3, 4 1/4. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in a layer of white so that we can decorate that. So we want 1/4 inch left. Okay, sorry. My computer was not plugged in and the battery stopped. So here I am back again. I'm going to add my other camera. Just give me 1 second. I will be with you to finish this up in a very quick time. Okay, here we are. Back again. Here we go. Whew, what a day. All right, so I decided to bring this pattern back for my card front. I have fresh freesia. I was going to do the white layer, but then I said, you know what? I don't like that so much. I'm flipping it over. And I'm going to put this down instead. So this piece was 3 by 4 1/4. So this is a 1/4 inch less, 2 3/4 by 4. We're going to put that on there. We're going to add a sentiment, and it's going to be good, all good. Just go with the flow, folks. That's one thing I always like to show you. Nothing is so bad that you can't make lemonade out of the lemons. See, I think it's beautiful. I really do. And we're going to use one of these circles again. We're going to put that right over here and maybe up there. And wouldn't it be nice to have a ribbon or something across here? I wonder what I have that would be a good color. I have, here we go. This is a good color. Can't go wrong with more. Well, this is Mossy Meadow, but it's has some of the gold and it's a shade of the green. So I think that would be fine. We can tie a bow around there and we can stamp a sentiment up there. Will my happy day fit? Or maybe we can just do a thank you. Let's see. Oh, happy day. Actually, that will fit. All right, let's just keep it on there since we already have it. Okay. Oh, see, now I see all the comments. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys. I don't like just talking to myself. I like seeing the comments. And now I can see Terry and Lois and Lydia and Terry. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, you guys. Yeah, there's the happy day. Oh, you guys made my happy. Yes, I'm back. Made me happy. Okay. There we go. There. I'm going to glue this on to just the corner. So I'm going to put glue on the back of here and here. And then the bottom of here and here, because I am positive those pieces are going to be able to accept the glue without being seen. All right. Like I said, you can do this with dimensionals as well. But this way, with the glue, I can position it to kind of see that I'm in the center. And it's all good. Look. Ta-da! Isn't that pretty? We'll put this on with dimensionals, and I'll even angle it a little bit for a little more whimsical look. Here we go. I think 3 should do it. Triangle shape. Thanks for hanging in, guys. That little glitch. And little angle. Let's get ribbon over there. I think my friend Lois here would say use the more glitzy side to show the most, right, Lois? All right, so you can try a bow or you can just make a knot. Since this is more to the left, I'll bring my bow a little more to the right. Now this ribbon is two-sided. One has more gold and the other is more subtle gold. So what's happening here is the part that's wrapped around is showing more of the gold, And then the bow is showing more of the green. And then what happens, usually some of these tails you can kind of work around so that you can see whichever side happens to go better. Sometimes you end up with 1 and 1, but sometimes you can manipulate it. Now, we don't want this sliding off, right? So we're going to hide some glue dots underneath there. Especially under the bow, under the knot. And I don't want those other parts to slide down either, so I'm going to hide some under there. Or at least one. Maybe I'll do 2. So I'm going to bend this a little bit. And there it goes. And then the next one. Oh, it's so nice to see your comments. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. Lois says, more bling the better. My bling girl. Okay, now we want to do something there, and our card would be done, unless we need more bling. Who knows? Hold on. What about kintsugi dots? I call them kintsugi dots. They're called flower accents, but they came with the kintsugi collection, and I just love that collection, but I love the dots even more. I think this needs a couple dots. Yeah, the big one's a little too much. 2 and 3s kind of adds to, mimics the dots that are on there. So this one might be even prettier than the last. Who knows? Let's just do a little something in here. I wonder. We can. Oh, there are these little dots here. Yeah, don't like that there. Maybe what we did before. Solid and a white one. Kind of interlock them a little bit. I'll put the solid one over the clear one so that I can put my glue under there and it won't be seen. Okay, now I can put that one down completely. And we're good. Good, good, good. All right, so I might add another little flower there. You know, bring in one of those freezer flowers like I did before to cover up the stems. I don't like the stems just hanging out of nowhere. Okay, so I can do that later, or unless I have a little piece here. Yep, I do. I'll do it quick and easy right now. Got one here. That way it'll be done. I mean, how many times have we left an unfinished project and then it took forever for us to get back to it? Happens, right? You say, okay, I'll just finish this up later, and then you go on to something else. It never gets done. At least that's me. Just round off edges that might be flat. Put a little flower there, or just ta-da. So look at that. That gorgeous paper really gets it all going, doesn't it? Now this might be a little too much, but if you had another piece that you would want to put on the inside there, feel free. But you know what? There's a lot going on. I'm going to just leave that blank because I might have a lot to say. Whoever I'm sending this to wish them a happy day. Whew. Okay, so there we go, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. And let me push this stuff out of the way. We'll bring in both cards, and you can see those. And I hope you can try some of this yourself. All right. So how they open is very unique. Kind of, I guess you could say it sort of pops up, but like a corner fold type card, I think some people are calling it. So different ways you can go about doing that. So I hope you liked it. Oh, shine, 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 Lois. Well, you are shining on my day, lady. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me try to do a little side by side here. I could say hello. And let me see any other comments that I might be able to answer or respond to right now. Okay, Lydia, thank you so much. I appreciate your comment. Happy day in the snow. Lois, is it snowing up there? Okay, Lois is in New York, where I used to live. Okay. Yeah, last I saw Lois, you're supposed to get, oh gosh, I don't know, 10 to 18 or more inches, or maybe 2 feet. Are they still saying all that much? I know it's blizzard warning up there. Hi, Nadine. Oh, thanks. Happy Sunday. Hi, Susan. Oh my gosh, look at all you people. I'm so sorry. These comments were not coming up earlier. Yeah, have fun in the snow. Be careful. Be safe. Stay inside and stamp. Okay. Okay, and Vicki loves a press and seal. Oh, good, good. I hope you do that, and I hope you continue to make cards for the nursing home. That is very nice, Vicki. Great job. Okay, hi, Karen. Good to see you. Okay, now I see everybody. Haven't crocheted since you found Stampin' Up. Oh, well, you know what? It'll be there, just when it strikes your fancy, you'll get back to it, or just do whatever makes you happy. That's all I say. Okay, Susan, what should I say during COVID? I did embroidery and crocheting that. Oh, well, you know what? Always good to evolve and do different things. All right, so thank you, everybody. Like I said, give me thumbs up if you can, some hearts, some comments, especially. That really, really helps. And go visit my blog. There's some information up there on my upcoming retreat. That is April 11th, but registration ends March 11th. Okay, because I have to prepare and know how many people to expect. And we're holding at a hotel that's right near Baltimore Airport. So if you need to fly in or even take the train, if you spend the night at the hotel, you get free shuttle service. So it could be a lot of fun. So we're going to have fun. It's going to be Flower Power 60s theme, and we always have a great time. So please consider doing that. Check it all out on my blog. I'm looking at other people here. Hi, Karen. Carol. Carol. Hi, Carol. Nice to see you. Connecticut. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just catching up on the comments. See if there's anything here. Schools are closed already, Lydia, in Harford County. Okay, I believe it. Further north, we're going to get more. Right now, last I saw was 3 to 6 inches possible, but it all depends on how wet it comes down or whatever. Nothing yet in Connecticut, Jackie. Hi, hun. Well, be safe, everybody. That's all I have to say. Be safe, and thanks for joining in, and thanks for your patience, and hope you try this card. Hey, bye, everybody. See you soon.